Jai Hind everyone. My name is Dr. Ashish Dixit. I will discuss on the topic of the Apache PIG, Hbase and Hive. This topic is also considered under the big data analytics. I think all persons are well known as that right now a huge amount of data are also available on the social media platform, on an e-commerce platform, or any other related to a different types of websites that will be handled to social network or a health domain data. So here we will discuss about the how to manage a huge amount of data in a proper manner, because right now you well known that currently data is unstructured manner. A huge amount of data is a unstructured manner. So here we will focus on some topic related to a field of the data and value of the data. Okay, what's the field of the data and what is the value of the data? So here we will use some different types of technology, how to manage a data that also present a unstructured manner. So we will use a NoSQL, MongoDB and Cassandra. Okay, so if we go towards the direction of the PIG, Hbase and Hive, so these are topic related to a big data and how it will be managed. So here we will discuss about the PIG. A PIG is a high level data flow platform for executing MapReduce program. What is a MapReduce? A MapReduce is a technique that will how to mapping of the data and how to reduce the complexity of the data. Means it's a provide a mapper and reducer concept. That's why we'll use the mapper and reducer program. Okay. So if you say that the PIG, a PIG is a high level data flow platform for executing a MapReduce program of Hadoop. Okay. It's also developed by the Yahoo, but it's a PIG is a Latin language name. PIG is a pig. PIEG is a Latin language name, not called a pig. It's called a PIG. Okay. So PIG script get internally converted to MapReduce and get the executed on the data stored in the SDFS. What is the meaning of SDFS? A Hadoop distributed file system. A Hadoop is the technique that will be provide data in a proper manner. So apart from that, Pig can also execute its job in Apache Tej or Apache Spark. Why we use Apache Tej and Apache Spark? Because Apache Tej and Apache Spark will be perform a better, given a better performance in an execution manner. That's here we will use the Apache Spark or Apache Tej. So if you can say that the PIG can handle any type of data, that maybe it will be structured or unstructured or semi-structured. If you can say the structured data, then means it's a follow the relational database management system and also use the SQL, Oracle. And if you can say that a semi-structured data, the semi-structured data is also considered CSV files, JSONs, XML files. And another side, if you think about the unstructured data, then unstructured data is also called like images, like a satellite images, like audios, like videos, because these are unstructured manner. And huge amount of data is also available on a social media platform or a e-commerce website. Okay. So PIG can handle the type of data. I also discussed structured, semi-structured and unstructured, and store the corresponding result in a Hadoop data file system. Every task which can be achieved using a PIG can also achieve using a Java used in MapReduce. So here we are given a preferences of the language that will be used in a MapReduce. We will also use Java and Python and PHP. These concepts are also available in the market. Okay. So what is the features of the Apache Pick? Then you can say that the first of all, its a feature is a ease of the programming. Then how to ease of the programming means here we will use a MapReduce process, then quite a high for a non-programmer. Then PIG makes this process easy and queries are converted to MapReduce internally. Okay. So second thing, optimization opportunity. What is the meaning of optimization? Optimization concept is also lie in a market. How to provide a optimized data means you will be easy understand. Suppose that in a market we got a loss, and if you got a minimum loss, then in a loss point of view, it's optimize output. And in a market, if you get the maximum profit, then maximum profit is also called the optimized profit. Means loss है तो minimum loss हो और profit हो तो maximum profit हो. This concept is called a optimization concept. Second thing, extensibility. User defined function is written in which the user can write their logic to execute over the data set. Extensible. Then flexible, it will be handled in easy manner as a well unstructured data. Second thing, inbuilt operators. So here we will also use a different types of operators such like sorting, filters, join tables and different things. So here we will use execution mode of the Apache Pick. So here we will run on the local mode. Then we will use the files are installed and run your local host and local file system. Here no need to Hadoop or HDFS. Then this mode is generally called a testing purpose. So $pig x local. Second thing, we will use a MapReduce mode. So MapReduce mode is where we will load a process the data that exists in a Hadoop file system using a Apache Pick. In this mode, whenever we execute the PIG Latin statements to process the data, a MapReduce job is invoked in the backend to perform a particular operation of the data and exist in the SDFS. So here we will use a $pig x MapReduce. And if you was run on a local platform, local mode, then here we will use a $pig x local. Okay. Next thing, Apache PIG execution mechanism. These are following a way of executing a big program on a local and MapReduce mode. So here we will use the interactive mode grunt. In this mode, the PIG is executed in the grunt shell. Here grunt shell invoke a grunt shell run the PIG command. Once the grunt mode execute, we can provide a PIG Latin statement and command interactively at the command line. Okay. So here the command line for the local mode of the grunt shell $pig x local. If you use the scripting, then you use the batch mode. So in this node, we can run a script file having a .pig extension. These files contain PIG Latin commands, and here we will use the UDF, also use a user defined function. Then we will use the embedded mode, and here we will use a embedding method. We can define our function. These function can be called as a UDF. Here we use the programming language like Java and Python. What is the benefits of if we will use the PIG concept? Then here we will use the less code, less consume, less line to perform any operation. And here we will use a reusability concept. PIG code is flexible enough to reuse the again. Okay, and also we use the nested data types. Then the PIG provides a useful concept of the nested data and type like tuple, bag and map. So here we will use the advantages of PIG. This is the architecture of the Apache pig. So here we are used a PIG. PIG Latin is used to express the data flow. Second thing, execution environment. Here we will use the execution environment single Java virtual machine. Third thing, a PIG script. Here first of all we will register the UDA present in a local file system. Then we use the PIG script. Then after PIG script we use the PIG Latin compiler. And here the PIG Latin compiler, we will take the input of the Latin compiler by the SDFS files. Then after the execution of the map reduce job in internally, we will get the output file will be stored in the SDFS. Okay, this is the architecture of Apache PIG. Next thing, if you consider the component of the Apache PIG, so here we will use different types of PIG Latin script. Then also use a grunt shell. Apache PIG is also have a parser, optimizer, compiler and a execution engine. Then after whole data will be taken by the PIG to the map reduce. Then map reduce also forward the data in a Hadoop in the form of the SDFS files. So these are also work of the parser, optimizer, compiler and execution engine. So if you consider the execution engine, then execution engine is a finally map reduce job are submitted to our Hadoop. I stored order finally. These map reduce jobs are executing on Hadoop producing the desired. So first of all, if you consider the Apache pig concept, then we will focus on the parser. What is the parser? Then parser check the syntax of the script and also check the other malicious data and get the output of the parser will be directed acyclic graph, which represent the PIG Latin statement and logical operators. Second thing, we will use the optimizer. Then optimizer provide the directed acyclic graph is passed to the local optimizer, which carries out the logical optimizations such as projection and the push down. Second thing, the compiler compile the optimized logical plan into series of the map reduce, okay, job. And next thing are called the execution engine. After these parser, optimizer and compiler work done, then we will execute the whole data. Then finally the map reduce jobs are submitted to Hadoop in sorted order. Finally, map reduce job are executed in Hadoop producing the desired results. If we consider the PIG Latin model, then here we will use the different structure of the data model. So here PIG Latin data model is also considered, it's split in 5 parts: atom, tuple, bag, map and relation. Okay, so these are tuples 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then whole things will be called the bag. Okay, so here we will use the atom is a single value in the PIG irrespective of their data types, known as an atom. Then tuple is a record that is formed by an ordered set of the field in known as a tuple. Okay. Then bag is also called a multiple tuples. If you have, then it's also considered in a bag. Then in our last we will use the mapper and reducer mapper. Then the key needs to type character and array should be unique. Then value might be of any type, it's represented by these. Then after the relation, a relation is a bag of tuples. The relation in a pig Latin are unordered. So there is no guarantee that the tuple are processed in any particular order. Okay. Next thing, what is the basic difference between Apache MapReduce and the PIZ? So here Apache MapReduce and Apache PIZ. So always keep in mind, Apache MapReduce is a low level data processing tools, but Apache PIG a high level flow tools. So if you can say that, so here in Apache MapReduce we use a complex using Java or a complex program using a Java or Python. But here Apache PIG is not required to develop a complex program. It's also manage a ease way of the program that will be handled by the program, ease way of the programmer and understanding ease way out to the customer. Second thing, it's difficult to perform data operation in a MapReduce, but in a Apache PIG, it's provide a built-in operators to perform data operations like union, sorting and ordering. In a Apache MapReduce, it's not allow to nested type, but if you can say that the Apache PIG, it's also allow in a nested data types like a tuple, bag and map. Okay. So next thing, we will discuss the topic of the Hbase. So what is the Hbase? Hbase is a distributed column oriented database built on the top of the Hadoop file system. Means here we will focus on a column oriented database. Okay. This column oriented database is also called a Hbase. Second thing, it's open source project that horizontally scalable, and Hbase is a data model that is similar to a Google's big tables designed to provide a quick random access and a huge amount of the structured data. Second thing, it's provide a leverage of the fault tolerance provided by the SDFS. And if you can say that the Hadoop ecosystem that provides a random real-time read or write access to data in the Hadoop file systems. And next thing, one can store the data in a SDFS either directly or through Hbase. And here we will also consider a data consumers read access the data in a SDFS randomly using the Hbase concept. And next thing, Hbase sit on the top of the Hadoop file system and provide the concept of the read and write access of the data. So here, what is the SQL? These are SQL. Here ID, name, game, okay, game name, game field name, then biker. So here column are grouped under the column families. If you consider a whole column, means column are grouped under the column families. These are a column families. Okay. So here the architecture of the Hbase. So if you consider the Hbase architecture, then here this is the client process. Client send the request to the region server here. Then region server is also have the different types of regions, and client send to the request to Hmaster and Zookeeper. What is a Zookeeper? Zookeeper handle the whole management of the all process. Okay. Then through the client, Hmaster will be connect the region servers, and these region servers provide the resultant to SDFS. Okay. And if you can say that these region server provide the data to SDFS, then Apache Hbase provide the whole data on the top of the SDFS. Okay. Then here we will discuss about the component of the Hbase. Here we will consider three types of component: Hmaster, region server and Zookeeper. Okay. So here the Hmaster implement the master server in Hbase. In Hmaster, it is a process in which the region are assigned server as well as data definition language like a create, delete and table operation. It monitors all region servers instance present in the cluster. In a distributed environment, master runs several background threads. Each master has also many features like a controlling, load balancing and failover. Second thing, region server, Hbase tables are divided horizontally by row key range into the region. Then region are the basic building elements of the Hbase cluster that consist of the distribution of the table and also comprise the column families and also provide the region server run on the SDFS data node, which is present in a Hadoop cluster. Regions or region servers responsible by for the several things like handling, managing, executing, as well as read and write. Hbase operation on the set of region, the default size of the region in 256 MB. So, what's the role of the zookeeper? Zookeeper just like a coordinator in a Hbase, means it provides a coordination ship between one technique to other technique. Okay, so here Hbase, a zookeeper work like a coordinator in a Hbase. It provides a service like a maintaining the configuration information, naming, providing the distributed synchronization, server failure notification, client communication with the region server by the zookeeper. Okay. So here we will discuss about the difference between SDFS and Hbase. SDFS is a distributed file system suitable for storing the large files. Hbase is a database built on the top of the SDFS. Second thing, SDFS does not support the individual record lookup, but Hbase also support for the large tables or a lookup for the large. SDFS also provide the high latency batch processing. No concept of the batch processing, high latency, but in Hbase is also handle low latency access to single row from the billions of the records. And if you can say that SDFS, then SDFS will be also work on the sequential access of the data. And if you can say that Hbase internally uses hash table and provides random access, and it stores the data in indexed SDFS file for the faster lookup. So next thing, we will consider the zookeeper. So zookeeper is also provide the coordination between the Hbase. So here zookeeper is a distributed coordination service which also help to manage the large set of the host. Second thing, zookeeper allow developers to focus on the core application logic and also work on the instance to track the status of the distributed data. Apache Hbase use the zookeeper, so they can also support a large Hadoop cluster easily. Next thing, it's provide the retrieve information. Each client machine communicate with one of the servers and also provide the keeps an eye on the synchronization as well as coordination across the cluster. Second thing, it's also provide managing and coordinating a service, especially a distributed environment is complicated a process. Then zookeeper solve this problem due to simple architecture as well as application programming interface. So here Apache zookeeper provides some special features that will be provide the better coordination service between the large set of the host. So here we will consider some concept like a simplicity, reliability, speed and scalability. So a simplicity, with the help of the shared hierarchical namespace, it coordinates. A reliability, we consider with the help of the system keep the performing even more than one node fails. Next thing, speed. In the case of where the reads are more common, it run with the ratio of 10:1. Then scalability. By the developing more machine, the performance can be enhanced. So next thing, again we will consider new topic, Apache Hive. Apache Hive is a distributed fault tolerance data warehouse system that enables analytics at a massive data on the behalf of the scale. The same thing, Apache Hive is a data warehouse system for a Hadoop that run SQL-like query called a Hive query language, which gets the internally converted to MapReduce job. Then Hive was developed by the Facebook. It's also social media platform. So it support the data definition DDL, DML languages and user defined functions. So this is the Apache Hive history. It's also developed by the Facebook. Then Facebook also throw the data to the Hadoop. Second thing, as we know, Hadoop uses MapReduce for a processing data. Then MapReduce require user to write the long codes. Then next thing, not all users were well versed with the Java and other coding language. This provide to be disadvantage for them. Second thing, users were comfortable with the writing the query in SQL. Hive was developed with a vision to incorporate the concept of the tables column just like. Okay. So here, why do we need the Apache Hive? So if you can say that the Python we will use the processing and analyzing, then a processing and analyzing data user found it difficult to code as not all of them were versed with the coding language. So here we will use some specific language like SQL. So here require a language similar to SQL, which as well as also called a HQL. So SQL provide the solution of the Hive. QL means HQL language. Okay. So this is the architecture of the Apache Hive. Apache Hive is also have a Hive client, three types of client: thrift servers, JDBC drivers and ODBC drivers. These are also connected by the Hive server. In a Hive server, we use the parallelly command line interpreter, then Hive web UI and Hive server. These are also connected by the Hive drivers. And Hive driver send to the data in a meta store, and meta store send to the data to the MapReduce. And after the mapper and reducer concept, the whole data will be goes towards the direction of the Hadoop distributed file system. Okay. So this is the Hive architecture. So in a Hive architecture, we use also different types of client server, web browser, thrift client, JDBC and ODBC. These are also connected with each other, and through the driver we use the compiler, optimizer and executed data. Then this data will be sent to the meta store. Then after the execution, we will use the concept of the job tracker and name node and also send the data to the Hadoop. Okay. So if we are use the thrift server, then thrift server is also cross language provider platform and serves the request from all those programming language that support the thrift. Then also use the JDBC driver. It is used to establish a connection between Hive and a Java application. Then the JDBC driver is present in the class org and Apache Hadoop. Hadoop.hive.jdbc Hive and here we will also use a ODBC driver. It allows the application that support the ODBC protocol to the Hive. Okay. So these are the features of the Hive. Hive is a fast and scalable. It provides the SQL like query like HQL. It's also capable for analyzing a large data set stored in a SDFS. So it's also provide the different storage such as like RCV files and the Hbase. It's also provide the indexing and accelerate the queries, and also have the knowledge related to a user defined function where user can provide the functionality. And next thing, it can operate a compressed data stored in the Hadoop ecosystem. Okay. So these are a limitation of the Hive. Hive is not capable for handling a real-time data. It's also work on a statistical data. It is not designed for an online transaction processing. Hive queries contain high latency. Thank you very much.